All right. Good evening, everyone. This is Julie White from Pennsylvania, Elite Pro 7 with LifeVantage, and just want to say welcome. So happy to see you guys on here tonight. It's always good to see everybody. And we only have fun people on here tonight, I was informed. So that's awesome. And we have some special guests here tonight. And first of all, I'm going to just turn it over to Elite Pro 7 Mark Harris out of Kansas City. And he's going to share with us more about building depth. And it's a great program that a lot of people are really growing with the building depth principles. So, Mark, are you ready to take it away?
I'm ready. I just got a heart attack. I was like, wait a minute. Did I just go back in a time warp? We're actually Pro 8. I was like, wow.
I thought I said Pro 8.
No, it's Pro 7, but I
apologize.
Yeah, it was a little. Yeah, I know.
If I was going to make an error, I should have at least said Pro 9.
Yeah, well, yeah. Speaking prophetically.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine. You're fine. Thank you, Julie. It is Monday, September 16th, and we're gearing up for some really exciting things in LifeVantage. I'll tell you, we have been around this deal for 9 years now, Krista and me. And Krista and I have been around for 9 years. And over the course of 9 years, we've seen some things change. When we first started, we didn't know what we were doing. I won't ask for a show of hands, but I know that between 70 and 80% of the total field in LifeVantage, this is your first network marketing gig. And I think that says a lot about what we have to offer. We're not your mama's network marketing company. However, we do owe those pioneers in this profession a great deal of gratitude. There are companies, legacy companies, that have been able to establish credibility, viability in this space, and they literally have created a platform for all of us to experience and create financial freedom for generations through residual income through this amazing profession. But I said no. We said no to quite a few of those opportunities in our early years. When we saw this, we did not quite comprehend the magnitude of what we have, but we, for one reason or another, mostly because of the credibility of the people that were sharing it with us, namely my mother-in-law, Jackie Shepard, and the other people that we began to see associated with this opportunity, it created a new sort of paradigm for us. And I know it did for a lot of you. But we didn't know what we were doing. And so we ordered a Vantage pack, which was the only enrollment pack 9 years ago available to us. We borrowed the money from my mother-in-law. And in that Vantage pack came a little spiral-bound notebook called the Blueprint. And we didn't know what that meant, what it really was. We had some local leaders here doing some meetings, and so we sort of discovered that. We discovered something called the Proven Plan audio series at some point, and we started listening to that. And that created a track for us to run on. It created a set of plans, a system for us to follow, which meant we opened our house once a week or maybe twice a week once we got going, Tuesdays and Thursday nights and some Saturdays. We had a bunch of Latinas coming over on some Sunday afternoons, and that's all we knew how to do. We showed the ABC primetime every chance we had, every opportunity we had a chance to, and then we followed up with that. And then once we discovered the importance of events, we've never missed an event in the whole 9 years. Since then, there's been a lot of changes. Dr. McCord retired, and then he started doing his own thing, and we had to change a couple CEOs and some Whitewater years, and this came out and that came out, and a bunch of new products, and all fantastic. But somewhere along the line, it seemed like the message got not diluted, but began, how can I characterize that? There were just a lot of messages coming out. A lot of different people trying different ways, different approaches, different messages, chopping up the ABC Primetime Investigative Report. Then corporate would come out with a video, and we'd share that. And in retrospect, you know, we've lost a lot of the ability to duplicate what we have. In the very beginning, we had one product, one video, and a handful of studies, and that was enough. And we created a $200 million a year company. Now, The good news is we're back over $200 million again after those whitewater years and growing, the biggest year we've ever had this past year. So if you're brand new, congratulations on bypassing all the friction and arriving here now. There has never been a better time to build a residual legacy income than with LifeVantage right now. I have a very good friend. Chris and I fell in love with Dave and Joanne Madison at some of our events. They were hitting elite about the same time we were, and we were hitting the beaches and golf courses of the world together. They taught myself and my kids to ski at their place in Vail, Colorado. And so now they are Uncle Dave and Aunt Joanne. And one of the greatest benefits of having done LifeVantage is relationships that we have with people like the Madisons. But Dave and Joanne have been absolutely instrumental with helping create the Building Depth community and the system that we began to follow 9 years ago. And they have sort of recodified that, regalvanized that message and some tools and some resources, including events. And with the opportunity tonight, we had just a small window to invite Dave to come and share some of that experience and some of those tools and some of that training with us. So Dave, I'm going to shut up. Without further ado, my friend, my buddy, my brother in the Lord, and Elite Pro 7, almost Pro 8, Dave Madison. Take it away, buddy.
Well, thank you, Mark. Thank you, Julie. We are thrilled to be here. We've had quite a path over the last 10 years. As Mark said, one of the first meetings for LifeVantage was at our house, and that was back when it was a little crazy. It was, $20 million in debt, and all we knew what to do was exactly what Mark just said. Grab them, let's get them in front of the video, let's get them in front of this message, and let the masses of the community move this mountain that was $20 million in debt. And through that process, we just started to weed down the mixed messages that were being presented as far as the outside company and what was going on. That I think more than anything, people got more enamored with the excitement of tomorrow, because there was always really good news coming off the wire, and that's wonderful and great. As I said to somebody this morning, it's nice to be on the winning team. Okay, and for people that are just getting into a launch mode or relaunch mode in their business, this is exactly what Mark just eloquently stated. This is by far the best time to roll out and roll into a business that's going to create some long-term legacy money. And so for us, it wasn't a massive desire to create something of greatness for ourselves. For us in the very beginning, it really fell more into a position of, oh my gosh, if we don't do something, this product could go away. And that was not a fun place to be, where today you and I don't have any of those concerns, because the company is rock solid financially, because the company sits in a portfolio that the outside world is edifying it just by the fact that there's over 25 studies, and the guys that are at the helm, when I say the guys and gals, we're talking about people that are sitting on the board of directors of this little $200 million company. They themselves have sat at the largest tables, from executives to board positions, of the biggest corporations you and I have ever witnessed in the world. The IBMs to the Apples to the Coca-Colas and Visas and oh wow, just Amazon Prime to Airbnb of local. I mean, these are some of the things that have been brought to the table because those people have realized how big this portfolio is really going to be, and they want to be a part of it. So today it's a different expansion and growth that we've had over a 10-year period of time. there's always been this mindset that I really like this and they really like that, and when in reality, when we saw the ABC primetime in the very beginning, because many people still think that it was old back then, so exactly what it is. And is it nice to have new things coming about? Absolutely. It's wonderful. But it's not what has been attractive from the very beginning. So, sorry guys, I got a phone call coming through. Am I still there?
Yep, we got
All
you.
right. Sorry. I lost my train of thought, unfortunately. So what is evolving today isn't anything different than what has always been here. The platform has always been the same. The difference is that blueprint that the original people where we sat put together these 30 pages of steps and procedures to build out a network marketing business as it's related to LifeVantage. We've just gone back to the old school world of just boiling it down to 3 pages instead of 30 pages. And edifying the example of the components that really make the difference for everyone to create a solid, long-term lasting business rather than creating something that's going to spike people in and out of the business. We're not totally focused in that area. We are more aligned with the mindset of if we can maintain a consistent message throughout this process and allow the brand new person a stepping stone of how to move this thing forward quickly and simply, and knowing that it's consistently going to be duplicated, then they don't get all in a frenzy of, do I do this or do I do that? And anytime somebody gets to that mindset of, do I do this or do I do that? That causes hesitation. And as soon as you have hesitation, now you have slowdown. Now you have just a stall moment. And anytime you're stalling your business, you're going backwards. So because we've just simplified this and brought it right back to the root foundational elements that is required in every business, people can grab a hold of it. So knowing and telling people up front that we need to do at least 15 presentations a month, rule number 1, or more, that's just rudimentary. Okay, that's an hour a day. Well, everybody has an hour a day. Nobody has any time, but they do have an hour a day. If people realize that if they can pile 15 meetings a week into the equation, they have opportunity to accelerate that, that's only a plus. When all of the elites that are on this call, I can guarantee you when you hit the elite ranks, you're doing 15 presentations a week, if not 15 presentations a day. Those are just statistics, okay? Now, does that mean you have to quit your job to move that message in that kind of magnitude? No, absolutely not. What we're talking about is leveraging our time and effort through this equation. So it's not just you doing 15 presentations a month. It's having 4, 5, 6, 8 people on your team doing 15 presentations a day or 15 presentations a week or more than 15 presentations a month. That's when you start to create those momentum swings that create growth curves, okay? Now, once we have that mindset that we need to start off with an hour a day kind of mentality, people can wrap their head around that. They're not going to throw their everyday existence out the window and stop what they're doing to pursue something that's something foreign to them. It's a brand new business. Number 2, you want to put yourself in a play where you want to stay in control of that business, but also you don't want to be in a management alignment, meaning I don't want to manage my people and their activities. I want to put themselves in a play where they themselves can stay in control of their business. How do we stay in control of our business? This is factor number 2. Number 2 is we're going to constantly be in a play where we're helping people move this action plan into existence. I'm not concerned about teaching people how to get into their back office necessarily. I'm more interested in getting in front of them with their people, getting in front of their list, getting in front of their people whether that be through Zoom or whether that be in person. I'm going to get in front of their people right away. I'm not necessarily interested in teaching them the whole ball of wax. I'm teaching them the activities that are going to create growth in their business. Okay? So, factoid number 3, let's do what we say we're going to do. The biggest reason why people get stalled in their business, I believe, is because we get to a play where someone says they're going to do something to help out an equation, and if that person doesn't do that, now that person is being shunned to the point where they're thinking, oh, this guy's word is not worth his word. Okay? We grew up in the great white north of Buffalo and Rochester, New York. We now live in Colorado, and there's always going to be those symptoms of there's a snowstorm coming. Are we still going to have the meeting? The answer is yes. If you got to work today because you have to, then yes, we're still having the meeting. Will we have the biggest turnout? No. But with technology today, we're still having the meeting. And yes, we're going to still house the meeting because some people are going to show up. And if you say you're going to do something, we need to make sure that we do that. If you've raised kids, you know exactly what that principle means. Okay? So we're going to continue through this process of promoting people into a position where they can create the greatest success. So whether it's on a call like this, whether it's on a Zoom call that I was on last night, whether it's on a call that I'm at 7:30 tonight, whether it's an event like we just got back from in St. George, whether it's in a couple of weeks we're going to be in Long Beach at one of the last elite academies as we know it, which is a function that the company puts on, we're all participating. And I haven't met yet anybody that has created millions of dollars in this industry that didn't attend all of these functions, these activities that are giving people validity that this is real, giving people believability so they know how to progress forward. So they don't have to be the lonesome soldier. They don't have to be the guy that is the first one doing it. They walk into a room with a dozen or 15 or 30 people, or on a Zoom call like this that's got dozens and dozens and dozens of people. They're looking around saying, oh my gosh, that guy Dave, oh my gosh, he's bald like that guy in the blue shirt. What's his name? Mark? Oh my gosh, he's bald. You mean I can do this because I'm bald? Yeah, you can do this because you're bald, okay? If Mark and I really wanted to be smart about this, we'd get Julie and Joanne and Krista on this horn and let their sweet talking little beauty marks and just like go woo right out through the live waves. They're going to have a higher sponsor rate because they're more enjoyable to look at. Well, it's not always the case, okay? People are going to be attracted to you. If you want to be able to promote them into the next event, put them in an environment where they can see you, where they can see the masses, where they can relate with a Mark. Why? Because he spent 15 years on the open road in ministry. Put him on a phone with a guy that's in the air conditioning world for 25 years like Dave Madison. Put him on the phone with someone like Joanne who's had their own mortgage company. They're going to be able to relate with all these individuals. So when you have the access to all of these elites like the Harrises and Julie Whites, etc., if you have access to all these people on a regular basis through technology, you can listen to a Joanne's story. You can listen to the Harris story. You can listen to how the Harrises are actually implementing the tear-off sheet presentation and doing it in a 20-minute version that allows people to see the quick bullet points that are important and critical to their success. So once you have all of these key components aligned, now you have in your business, which is exactly what you and I want. I do not want people to think that they have to follow a Dave Madison. I want them to think on their own, but know that the river that Dave Madison created success in is a river called building depth. Joanne and I were taught this by the guy is still the largest income earner in the world of network marketing. And he taught us this 30 years ago. And we've been implementing it ever since we started creating success in the last 10 years with LifeVantage. We've implemented the same success principles that allowed us to retire early from our traditional world to be able to be in an environment like the Harrises and the Whites that allow us to be mentored and also allow us to mentor. And if all we have to do in this system that we're talking about is teach people how to blow up that inner tube. When we were launching this originally, the river wasn't even a river. It was hardly even a stream. And there were a lot of really sharp rock on the bottom. And we were cutting inner tubes, and we were cutting up our legs because we were laying into those rocks. Today, there's a river that's flowing, and all you and I have to do is teach people how to get in the inner tube. The water's going to be cold. We all know it's always the first is always cold. But as soon as you get used to the water in the first few seconds, you're in clear sailing right now. And that's all you have to do is teach people to follow the system that allows their people to create success. And if they do that, now they're taking themselves out of the equation, and we're not creating a whole nother job for somebody. They're still applying this business on a practicum of an hour a day. And then once things start to move away where they don't have to have 3 jobs anymore as a single mom taking care of a family, now they're down to 2 jobs, and they can elevate this business into 2 hours a day. And now they're getting rid of their second job because they're making $2,000 or $3,000 a month in this that's passively coming in, even if they're just processing this an hour a day. Now they're willing to spend more time to help others do the same thing, so they're up to 2 or 3 hours a day. And that's how you leverage your time and your life, by teaching and training and mentoring people to move forward in a system that creates that growth pattern, that creates that duplicating effect, that creates a leveraged income instead of a secondary job. So that's what we're super, super excited about. The next major event is in Long Beach, and that's in the beginning of October. The next building depth function in St. George is the 13th and 14th of December. We have those events on a quarterly basis. It's only a stinking $50 bill. It works all day on Friday and all day on Saturday. That is what we are all promoting after the last Elite Academy as we know it happens, that's being run by this corporation called LifeVantage. We're in a play right now where people are needing to be infused with their belief system every 90 days. That is human psychology. It's been the forefront of the industry for decades and decades. And that's why you have an opportunity to move people into a building depth function every 90 days. And the next function coming out of LifeVantage corporately, where they're going to get the nuts and bolts and training, is going to be in October at the global convention for LifeVantage, and I don't even know where that's going to be. But we have, it benefits them. So, Mark and Julie, I hope that answered. Certainly, I'll be happy in the car, so we could also bug on her if you want to.
Yeah, Dave, mention, while I've got you, I'd love to have you plug the Tuesday night calls as well. And I'll follow up with some other resources where folks can get tear-off sheets and workbooks. But can you just talk about the Tuesday night calls?
Yeah, Joanne can certainly elevate that.
You're breaking up a little bit, brother.
Building system is its simplicity to tap into for everybody, no matter. I am. Can you hear me now?
There you go.
Hey, Joanne, you're a little sketchy.
Can you hear me now?
That's a little better, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Boy, it's awful rough. Yep. Can't quite make it. No, can't quite make it out. All right. We'll try to get Dave and Joe back on. Are you back? Are you back?
We're there.
Okay, let's try it one more time.
Are you there?
You can hear Dave better. Tell Dave to do it.
You got it.
Hey, Dave, let's try you.
Okay. Hello.
Yeah, barely.
I don't know where we went. We're still here.
Okay.
Mark, are you there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
No.
Did somebody
Okay.
mute us?
Nope. No, it's just your signal. Try one more time.
Great. How about now?
Yep, that's better.
Now?
Yep, that's way better. You hear a little faint. You sound a little faint, but the signal's much better. I love modern technology when it works. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and pick up. Every first and third Tuesday of the month, Building Depth has a training call, and it is essentially a global team call for the LifeVantage Building Depth family. So feel free to jump in. Those details are on the Building Depth Facebook group. You can also get those details. Let me share my screen here so you can see that. We did this last week, but we had some folks requesting that we go back over some of these resources. So there is the Building Depth event group hosted by Jason Kokenzie. If you want to indicate your attendance or intention to attend the December 13th and 14th event in St. George, it's $49, as Dave said, at the Dixie Convention Center. You'll want to stay close by. And you can access that, of course, through the Building Depth 5x5 group. Let me just type that in so you see it. That's the group you're looking for. Right there, that handsome group of people. And those bi-weekly phone calls, the information's on there, as are a lot of other resources and helpful tools. You can also, if you're not a Facebook person, go to the website, buildingdepth5x5.com. And on that homepage, you should see a picture of the one and only Marcel Niederhauser and his presentation on the workbook. And there's lots of links here that will take you to the YouTube page as well. You can access this directly as well, and I want to recommend to you again this week that you do that. Building Depth 5x5 is the name of the channel on YouTube, and in that playlist or in that compendium of videos are all the tear-off sheet presentations done by the Building Depth Elite presenters and workbook presentations as well. And just to reiterate, this is where Krista and I are spending a lot of time retooling our presentation because of what Dave mentioned earlier, we want this to be easy to duplicate, right? You don't have to know how superoxide dismutase works to build a legacy residual income for generations through LifeVantage. And so we're trying to keep the simple thing, keep the main thing the main thing. And if people need nutrigenomic research, they can go to PubMed. We can put a doctor. We've got Dr. Jerry Whistler on the line. We've got 1,500 practitioners in LifeVantage that you can put on the phone with your people if they need that information. But you don't, as in the words of Brandon Cunningham, you don't have to explain to an entrepreneur what the ABC Primetime Investigative Report means, right? And so we're looking for the people who get it and who are ready, who are at 12 o'clock noon and ready to run with this thing. And the rest we follow up with. We're just starting a conversation, right? Dave and Joe, I see you back. Joe, you want to try one more time?
We are. Are you able to hear us all right?
Yeah, that's much better.
There you go. Well, I think Mark, you nailed it. It's the simplicity that we want to make sure we focus on. And anything we do, the more difficult and more complex you make it, the harder it is for someone that's adhering to it or being attracted to the equation. We have to keep it simple. So sending them right to a website, buildingdepth5x5.com, and when you go there, you'll see all this stuff that Mark just illustrated. These are the simple plans, and this is being driven, guys, not by just Marcel Niederhauser or Master Pro 10's Marcel and Blue. This is being driven by everyone that's been an elite at this point. You guys have tremendous leadership right at your fingertips. With the Harrises and the Whites, etc., you already have the people that you can connect with. The difference is this. When you have 20 or almost 30 elites now that are a part of this program that we're talking about, you're going to get so many different personalities. And if they're all teaching the same steps and principles, the personality is just going to be something that is going to be easy for that person to hear. It's not going to be a difference of statement. Okay? So if that's what we want, because that's what creates duplication, the same message, just with different personalities, then this is a system that everyone is grabbing a hold of. And fortunately, we've got that system already in play. It's growing like leaps and bounds. It's gone from last week when Mark and I were there, it was a day and a half, and now it's up to 2 days because we have people like the Harrises, etc., that are a part of this program in becoming teachers and instructors. And because this is how Mark and Krista and Julie built their elite position, doing these principles. They could not get to where they are today without them. So all we now have is just that simplified version that everybody can be attracted to. Okay?
I'm going to let Joe, I see you're there in the car with Dave. I'm going to come back to your same question. Can you just talk just for a second about the Tuesday night phone calls?
So what I love about the Tuesday night phone calls is no matter what time zone you're in, you can tap in and you get to hear from over a dozen different elite distributors on the same principles and the same system over and over and over again. And so the feedback sometimes is, well, it's the same thing. Well, the calls, they are for us or you repetitively, because even though I've been involved for 10 years, I still learn something every single call. But really the calls are for us to tap in with our new people. And so they haven't heard the information over and over and over again. And so the first and third Tuesday, 9 o'clock Mountain Time, so 10 Central, 11 Eastern, you can tie into that. They're usually right around an hour long, and they are information packed with just the simple system that you can then teach your team. And that's what it's all about. It doesn't matter what you do, it matters what duplicates.
Yeah,
this is all about duplication.
And those calls are being recorded every week or every other week now, right?
They are. They are.
Yeah, so I know that that's helpful for those of us in the Central Time Zone, especially for those of you guys East Coasters. Did I just call you coasters? Yes, that makes it accessible. And here's the thing. Here's perhaps some of you are catching this. If you guys have ever worked really hard and created income, you already get it. You already understand that the reason people drive Ubers is not because they like strangers in their cars. The reason people drive Ubers is because it's easy to create extra income. What if we had a system that was as easy to use as it was to drive an Uber, to create residual, not linear income? And that is the discussion I think that we need to have more of. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, the products are unbelievable. The products are unmatched. They're unparalleled in 6,000 years of recorded history. But people still are going to work tomorrow morning and having heart attacks because they hate what they do every day. And if you talk to somebody who already is looking at the handwriting on the wall going, I will not have enough money at the end of my life to live, this just makes perfect sense. That's why I think these tools are awesome. So
they're awesome. They're so simple. And you guys, we've had people ordering these products every single month for over the last 10 years. Think about that. We have gotten paid month after month after month after month over the last 10 years on sharing this information once.
Right.
Where can you get that?
Mark, let me add something, because you just showed the tear-off sheet, and I want so many people want to actually take that tear-off sheet and they want to add all sorts of stuff to it and make it all pretty and all this whatever stuff. And you're welcome to do that. But this is what I want you to understand, okay? If you're going to do that, you've now impressed upon your opinion into the equation, and you've taken away the opportunity for the person that's hearing it to create a simple duplicated presentation. So let me give you an example. And we're on our way out tomorrow, back up to North Dakota to meet up with this couple that when they came in the room, they didn't know why they were there. When they finally reunited after 10 years, we ended up sharing the ABC primetime. An hour later, got done with the whole entire presentation. 45 minutes later, he was a little excited. 45 minutes later, I'm standing in front of his wife and her office owner and secretary with 3 people standing at the front counter. And he said to me as we walked in, he says, okay, I don't know what I said to get these guys to sit and listen to us for a couple minutes because they don't have a lot of time because they're going to be at the front counter, but they got to go back and there was a massage therapist, a chiropractor. But I need to redeem myself, so I got to tell them this better. So, okay. So we walk in, he introduces, he takes that tear-off sheet, he puts it up on the counter, and he starts pointing to all these things that I just got done saying. 45 minutes later, flipped it over, 15-minute presentation, and the chiropractor, the massage therapist, and the office person said, okay, we don't have any more time to listen to this, but we need to reconnect. And I said, my only purpose for being here was to shake a hand, put a name to a face. We can talk later on tonight. And she said, deal. You've brought us enough information that we know we need to get together. That's called duplication.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
That guy went in 6 months. They're now pro 5s in the business. And we're heading back up there right now to meet up with his group up there in the North Country before the snow hits. That's called duplication.
Yeah.
That's why you'd use the tear-off sheet.
Yeah. And to me, this is where we're going to connect some dots for some folks that are watching this live and on replay. And this is why we're moving towards embracing the building depth system, Krista and myself, because there are only 2 questions that every prospect that you have is going to ask. One, is this real? And if they're a skeptic, they may not even say that out loud. They'll just shut you down. If they're a critical thinker, they may look at it. If they're optimists, they'll go, wow, that sounds amazing. I'm in. How does this work? The second question is, can I do this? The answer to that question is on this piece of paper. And if they see you go through this tear-off sheet and put your sponsor or your third-party validation on a phone, and that's the system, that's the answer to that question. Yeah, because they can do what you just did. They can go through a tear-off sheet. Even if you're watching Clint Boyles do this on a recorded video and sitting down with them at Panera Bread, filling in the blanks, you can do that, right? And that's as easy as driving an Uber. So, yeah, so there's our endorsement. Dave and Joe, we're over time. Thank you guys so much. We love you. And I can't wait to hang out with you guys in Long Beach next month.
Absolutely. We're looking forward to it.
Where are you guys teaching this month for LVA?
We are on our way to Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
Oh, man, we were just there. The river's up. It's beautiful.
Yes, that's right.
Awesome.
Where are you at?
I'll be headed to Phoenix on Friday.
Oh,
And,
perfect.
For those of you in Kansas City, you're going to get your first chance to hear from Gloria and Jennings Waterhouse as well.
Which will be fantastic.
It will be phenomenal. I wish I could be here for that.
I agree.
All right, we love you guys. Thank you so much. And
Love you too, guys. Thanks so much. Thanks, Julie.
Julie, back over to you for final thoughts.
Hey, I'm all in with this building depth, and my understanding is that there's also a PowerPoint that corresponds with the tear-off sheet that you can use if you're doing a Zoom presentation.
Mm-hmm.
You got it.
Yeah, it's on the Building Depth Facebook page and the Building Depth website, which is buildingdepth5x5.com.
Okay, great. And then there's the LV coaching app that helps new distributors get started and also has personal growth and development.
Absolutely.
Right.
And you can tap into that for 14 days for free.
That's awesome.
And go into the folder that's the first 14 days to launch your business. It's an amazing app.
It's stunningly amazing. It really is.
Yeah.
Great. Okay, well, thank you so much. This is great information. Appreciate everybody being on here. Thanks for your time. We love you guys. And that's it for tonight. So bye for now.
Awesome. Thanks,
Bye-bye,
guys.
everybody.
Love y'all.
Love you too.
Love you
Bye.
too.
See you. Bye.